Today, we're jumping into the massive, complex, and honestly fascinating world of macroeconomic policy. We're going to look at the big levers governments around the globe pull to try and steer their countries toward a better future for everyone living there. So let's get right into it.
And it all starts with a really simple, almost childlike question. Why can't every country just be rich? I mean, seriously, if we have a pretty good idea of what makes economies grow, why isn't everyone wealthy? What's really standing in the way? That's the huge puzzle we're going to try and unpack today.
And believe me, the stakes could not be higher. Just look at this. When you put a high-income country like Switzerland next to a low-income one like Burundi, the differences are just staggering. GDP per capita, over $80,000 versus less than $300. But it's so much more than money. We're talking about a 20-year gap in how long people live. We're talking about the difference between everyone having electricity and almost no one having it. This isn't just data. This is a picture of two completely different realities.
All right, so to figure this all out, here's our game plan. We'll look at why economies are so different, what the actual goal is, who the main enemies are, how global trade fits in, and finally, how all these pieces come together in one giant puzzle. So first up, a world of economies. And the most important thing to get here is that every country is starting from a totally different place. There's just no magic bullet, no single economic strategy that's going to work for everyone everywhere. But even with all those different starting points, there is one goal that pretty much unites every single economic policy out there: the quest to make life better for the people of that country.
And that brings us to the ultimate prize, the standard of living. This is what it's all about. It's not just about wealth, it's about comfort. It's about having what you need. This is what turns those abstract economic numbers into real-world things, like better schools, safer communities, and more opportunities for your kids.
So how does a country actually do that? Well, policymakers basically have three main levers they can pull. First, you can boost what we call human capital. That means investing in education and skills, making your people smarter and more capable. Second, you build physical capital. That's all the stuff, the roads, the factories, the tools that make work more productive. And third, you've got to foster new technology, finding brand new, more efficient ways to get things done. It's really that simple: smarter people, better tools, and new ideas. But of course, it's never that easy, is it? This whole quest is full of challenges. And every single economy, I don't care how rich or poor, is constantly fighting two big domestic dragons: unemployment and inflation. These guys are the classic villains in any economic story. Now, it's super important to know that unemployment isn't just one single monster. It comes in two different forms. Cyclical unemployment is tied to the economy's natural rhythm. It goes up when there's a recession and down when things are good. Structural unemployment, though, that's a way tougher problem. That's when there's a deep mismatch between the skills people have and the jobs that are actually out there. You can't just fix that by giving the economy a little boost. And it's the exact same story for our other dragon, inflation. You've got demand pull inflation, which is the classic case of too much money chasing too few goods. Everyone wants to buy stuff, and businesses just can't keep up. But then you have cost push inflation. That's when the cost of making things, like oil or paying your workers, goes up, which forces businesses to charge more. See? Two totally different problems that need two totally different solutions. Okay, so we've been looking inside a country's borders. Now it's time to zoom out and step onto the world stage. We're moving on to the global balancing act. Because today, no economy is an island. We're all navigating this incredibly complex maze of global trade. And right at the center of this maze is something called the balance of trade. It sounds complicated, but the idea is actually really simple. It's just the difference between what a country sells to the world, its exports, and what it buys from the world, its imports. The math, as you can see, is as simple as it gets. You take your exports, subtract your imports, and you get your trade balance. If the number is positive, you've got a trade surplus. If the number is negative, you've got a trade deficit. That's it. So why should we care about this? Well, it matters a lot. A trade deficit might mean consumers get lots of cool, cheap stuff from other countries, but it could also mean the nation is living beyond its means, borrowing from others. On the flip side, a big surplus sounds great, more money coming in, but it might be a sign that people inside the country aren't buying enough. So the goal isn't always to have a surplus. It's to find a balance that's stable and can last. And that brings us to our final section, the great policy puzzle. We've talked about the goals, the tools, the dragons at home, and the maze abroad.
Now we're going to see how policymakers try to fit all these clashing, competing pieces together.
And this right here is probably the most crucial takeaway from all of this. There are no easy answers. It's a constant dilemma. Think about it. If you raise interest rates to crush inflation, you risk slowing down the whole economy and putting people out of work. If the government spends a ton of money to create jobs, you could spark inflation and run up a huge debt. If you block imports to protect local industries, prices for everything could go up for consumers. Every choice has a consequence. It's all about trade-offs.
Which leads us to this fantastic quote from Henry Hazlitt that just nails the whole challenge. A good policymaker can't just fix today's problem. They have to think like a chess master, always looking 2, 3, 4 moves ahead to see what the long-term effects of their decisions will be. So that leaves us with one final thought, a question for you. Now that you've seen the balancing act between growth, jobs, prices, and trade, if someone handed you the keys to the economy, what would you focus on first? Which dragon would you try to slay? Which piece of the puzzle is most important to you? It's a tough one. Thanks for digging into it with us.